Welcome to the Armenian Harvest, hosted by Arman Spanyan. Before the podcast begins, I want to say a couple things. First, I'm very grateful to Anush Ghavalyan, who took the time to be the first guest on this podcast. I hope you found the information she provided in this episode as valuable as I did. Second, I made some amateur mistakes that I hope you'll overlook since this was my first podcast episode. I hope to improve as I gain more experience. Finally, if you want to learn more about me or the purpose of this podcast, please follow the Armenian Harvest on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you, and I hope you learned something new. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here, Anush.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't we get started with the first question? You have a bachelor's and a master's in political science. I wanted to ask you, what got you interested in politics? What's your story with that?
To say that becoming a political scientist or this interest didn't come from my childhood. In my childhood years, I wanted to become an astronaut. So it is far from politics, but still I came to this point during the last years of my school, high school, and I said, okay, why not? Maybe I will become a politician and we'll have an opportunity to fly to the galaxy and to open sky.
Why did you want to become an astronaut?
I don't know. When I was a little child, I was laying on the ground and looking at the stars as many children did it in their childhood years. So this interest came from childhood. A huge fan of NASA. And I followed every post and liked every post in social media. And I came to the idea to study political science. And I was watching TV and got interested in political processes. So this interest brought me to the university and the class of political science.
And are you liking it? Did you ever regret the decision or?
Actually, not. But right after graduating from the university, I was kind of an idea to enter politics and make changes. But later, when I started to work in the parliament of Artsakh and started to know politics from inside, I started counting the days when I will finish my job in the parliament. So right now, to say that I dream becoming politician or doing some active politics, it's not true. And no, I don't disappointed from my choice of profession, but at this point, especially after the last year's war, I think politics is not the best field to be useful for my country and for my people.
I thought after the war happened, I thought the opposite because I wanted to be a doctor before the war, and then the war happened, and I thought that politics was like the most important thing to change the nation. But
taking into consideration my capabilities and skills, I think I am in media doing more that I could do in politics. Let's put it this way.
Okay, so you're the head of the press and the PR department of the Artsakh National Assembly. Then you were the press secretary to the president of the Artsakh National Assembly. Then you became an advisor to the president of the Artsakh National Assembly. My question is, when there was any news of a crisis, what was the protocol? What was the response when you had each of these roles? And what was the response of the government in general? Was there like an emergency meeting that happened immediately, or did the topic come the next day when the meeting happened?
As you have mentioned, I started to work in the National Assembly since 2014, and it were just several days that I was in my position of the head of the press service when the escalation happened between Nagorno-Karabakh, Artsakh, and Azerbaijan. And if you remember, it was August 2014 when they escalated the situation on the border. And in the autumn, they shot down an Armenian helicopter doing military drills. So it was my first experience in my this position. And my reaction was kind of, if something happens in our country or with our country, the National Assembly should respond. And I was I know what's going on and I can do something. But still, I am nobody to do something because I'm in a position of a press officer who is managing or coordinating this press stuff. But still, this officer has no authority to make a statement or to speak for herself. So I'm doing a technical thing because my job was I take the message of the parliament, their statements or their meetings, and make these press releases. I take this message and try to bring this to the public and to the foreigners and others. So you are kind of bridge between government and parliament, governmental organization, and the public. So actually you are no one. But kind of a technical thing. This I didn't like the most because before my job in the parliament, I was actively engaged in public sphere of my country in Artsakh. So I always spoke for myself and did everything for my own. So it was unusual to do this kind of technical thing, but still I realized that I am doing a useful job, useful work for my country. So I worked for International Assembly till 2020, May 2020. After the parliamentary presidential elections in Artsakh in 2020, I resigned, and I was very, very happy. It's unusual. Yes, my friends all my friends told me that you should find another. You can't find another job equal to this because you are a high ranked so-called official. You are in a good position. Your salary is good. Your position is good. Your everything is fine. Don't give up this job. But I was very, very happy when I filled the application for getting my job in the National Assembly. So, but what comes to the emergency situations, crises, and response, as I told you, it's mainly technical. When you are a press officer, you do technical things. But when I was in a position of an advisor, I wasn't a technical tech support, but still you are not a decision maker. All you can do is to analyze the situation or give some recommendations or some comparisons. That's all. You are not a decision maker. Even you are talking or you are discussing these important things with the decision maker. Still, you are not one. So you feel like you can do more if you are a decision maker, but you should grow for that position.
And what is the response now as the presenter for Artsakh Public TV? Are you constantly on news websites gathering information? Is it a 24/7 job, or does someone kind of do that work for you and then you present the whatever's happened?
Actually, the TV show that I run on Artsakh Public Television is a weekly program, and it's not a 24/7, 7/24 job. So I choose my guests, I choose the topic, and I organize these meetings, and all the things, all these things are up to me to decide. So I free kind of decision maker in my own program. Better than in the National Assembly. So I just organize and coordinate these things to air the show. So I am alone. There is no group working with me, just a cameraman and regisseur. So, but to choose the topics and to choose the guests, it's up to me, and I'm happy with it.
So you've also done work regarding public policies. What are some things to consider when employing a new public policy? What's important for a new policy?
When I first went to the United States for this training program, after finishing this program, I had a kind of idea that I should apply all these knowledges regarding this public policy, decision making, and other things to my job. But in Artsakh, there is theory, there is a foreign experience, and there is Artsakh. So in real life, in real politics, all this knowledge didn't work as they meant to be, and it's very difficult to convince your superiors or supervision to that there is kind of experience that work well, and we can apply this knowledge to our case and get better results. It doesn't work always, and it even doesn't work in many cases. So to say that I apply the knowledge and experience that I got in the United States at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy to my work as previous as this one, it wouldn't be true. But still, there are cases when this experience and this knowledge helped me to solve many issues and to look on the things from another perspective and give a better solution to them.
So the primary reason why you haven't been able to apply the knowledge that you received from the education in America is because of?
No, there are differences between the American education and the state government system and this public system of Artsakh. And I'm not speaking even about our educational system, because they are very, very different. And I understand that this education, U.S. education is designed for U.S. government and other states similar to the United States, and not a post-Soviet country like Artsakh is. When we add this unrecognized status and this permanent threat of renewing conflict, armed hostilities, and but still, you realize that you have no option rather than to develop democracy and democratic institutions, because when there are democratic institutions, it gives a power to state system, to statehood in general, and you become capable to resist many challenges. But still, to say that our system, our government system, or our public policy in general is designed to be adjusted, to be adjusted to the foreign educational systems. I mean, those who graduate Western universities, they don't feel comfortable in our society and in public institutions. working in the public institutions, since only we understand each other and each other's concerns, and we can, with friends who have some kind of Western experience in their educational background, we can talk hours and discuss everything, but all we can do is just discuss and express our concerns over a number of issues.
So it's not because the authorities in the Artsakh government are not receptive to policy changes. It's just that the system in general is very different.
Yes, the system and also the society, the perceptions in the society. As I've mentioned, our educational system is very different. And when your educational system prepares this mentality, this gives some fixed capabilities and skills, knowledge to those who are involved in these public institutions, and they are becoming decision makers. I wouldn't say they are unpleasant to these changes, but still they resist any reforms or that could adapt their comfort or to do push them to do some things, because there are many, and those with Western experience are few.
In your opinion, what's some beneficial foreign partners for Armenia and Artsakh, more Artsakh, maybe ones that we don't often consider?
You mean countries, foreign countries?
Yeah, like foreign partners who would be willing to maybe invest in Artsakh or be more in tune with the Armenia-Artsakh cause than, let's say, the Turkish-Azerbaijani cause.
I always were of the opinion that we should rely on our own to make something or to defend ourselves or everything. The cornerstone should be us, not the others, because when it depends on you, on your country, you know what will happen. But when you just rely on foreigners or foreign countries, even they are friendly, they are your strategic partner and your ally, but still you should rely on your own, because you will never know what will happen and what this particular partner will behave. And this war in Artsakh in 2020 showed that this concept is right, and Armenia and Artsakh left alone against these Turkish Bayraktar drones, Azerbaijani army, and also the international terrorists these foreign mercenaries that they involved in the conflict against us. So they were concerned, and were statements coming from France, Russia, USA, and others, European Union, and so on. But still, nobody took a step to not to help Armenia and Artsakh, but at least to stop this bloodshed, because the imbalance of power was very obvious, and everyone knew that Azerbaijan and Turkey against Artsakh and Armenia are this imbalance of power is huge. Still, all we had some concerns and statements. In their concerns and statements, that they didn't even mention that Azerbaijan and Turkey are aggressors and Armenia and Artsakh are victims, but they called both sides, both sides approaches guided us all the time. When I host different politicians or different experts from different countries, even their societies, their countries are friendly towards Armenia and Armenians in general. But still, the message that I get from them is just rely yourself and on your own country and on your own nation. Okay, it's okay to have friends, but nobody will fight for you, and nobody will come to defend you if you don't want to defend yourself. So this is the main message that I get from these foreign partners, if I can call them. But this about the politics and this public attitude, I don't have many contacts with those who are interested in investment program, in investing Artsakh. But just in my daily conversations with friends, I can say that there is interest to invest in Artsakh or in Armenia mainly from foreign partners. But I think we need a kind of policy to attract them, because if there are many investments coming from foreign partners, it kind of can reduce the resumption of armed hostilities, because these foreign partners are also interested in keeping peace, and they have their own leverages to make an influence on Azerbaijan or in Turkey to keep this region in peace and to keep stability in this region. But I have no more information about what's going on right now with foreign partners and investors.
Why do you think that was the case when everyone was just giving messages of we're concerned? Like that was the constant message that we were receiving from all the political bodies. When the facts were presented to them, why did they just say they're concerned?
I'm not saying that we shouldn't work with foreign politicians or those who have friendly attitude toward Artsakh and Armenia. No, I appreciate their efforts to defend the rights of those living in Artsakh, and also raising the voice of Artsakh people in different political platforms. No, we are very grateful to these politicians and these officials, but still, all I'm saying that we having good friends is okay, but at the end of the day, it's you to decide your own problems, to solve them, and to get through it. Nobody will do it for you. That's all I'm saying. And of course, having good friends is always a good idea and to rely on, but not. They are not there to solve your problems for you. They may help you, but at the end of the day, it's you to solve your problems, to defend yourself, and to protect your rights. So that's all I'm saying.
I think I very much agree with that. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. I haven't met many women from Artsakh, but the ones I have met are like really strong, very strong mental attitudes and super resilient. Why do you think this is the case? And is this the case for everyone living in Artsakh?
I think we have no other choice rather than to be strong. This comes from the nature, and I will always say that it is because of our mountains. The one who grew up in the mountains will never give up. We never give in difficulties or challenges. Even they are thorough and they are very severe. But when you realize that if you give up, this is not a solution, you continue to struggle. You continue to fight for your rights and for to defend yourself, your family, and your country in general. So Artsakh women, I wouldn't separate them from the Armenian women. I think Armenian women are strong and they know what they want, and they are always there to defend what they believe is there, belongs to them, and this is their family, this is their homeland, and this is their values that they believe in. So I think it comes from their nature and from our geography, maybe. Of course, we are dreaming for some sequin dresses and high heels as well. And some pink wood, but we never forget that we are here to defend what we care about and what we value the most. There's joke, kind of. My friends always say that Look, you are kind of strong. What is your favorite color? When I say, guys, my favorite color is pink. They don't believe that. No, you can't consider pink your favorite color, but it's the case.
Okay, so like the feminine, even though you're incredibly strong and resilient, like that feminine side is still there. Okay. Staying on the topic of women, what is the perception that people have of women in the political sphere? Are people in Artsakh open to having a female president?
No.
Okay.
Even with my strengths and ambitions, I can surely say that our public is not ready to accept female leaders because they see woman's role is I think is underestimated, and they in their private conversations, men mainly will talk that yes, this woman or this particular woman is clever than many men, but still they will ask for advices, they will ask for recommendations, for some analysis, and some to do some work for them. They can do for themselves, but they know that this particular woman can do. But still, in private, they accept that women may be even better than many men in positions. I mean, in government or in politics and other leading positions. But in public, women in politics is not generally welcomed. But I think I did a research a couple years ago on the role of women in Artsakh politics. And came to the conclusion that we need leading examples to show and to attract women to enter politics or other, not only politics, in business, in media, even in security, field of security and other. I said that the main obstacle that women face in their promotion and is that other women don't support them. And I found this factor very hurtful because in general, it's supposed that a woman should support other women because they face the same challenges and they face this same discrimination from men. But in our case, it was surprisingly, but fact that many women they don't support other women, mainly in politics, and they see them maybe as their potential competitors, and they don't want to share this area with other women, and they do everything to keep this woman out of politics and out of the table of decision making. But I hope with this new generation who are more free in their thinking and in their life, and they perceive this equality as it is. I think with this new generation, some changes will happen. But for now, to speak about women decision maker in Artsakh, it's too early. Even if there are women in high positions, still they are not decision makers. I can surely say this.
Mm-hmm. And when we're talking about the women who oppose other women, are we talking specifically about women in politics opposing other women in politics, or are we talking about just the general public?
Public, not only politics, but also in business, in media, and in every sphere where this decision-making processes are happening.
And why do you think that's the case? Is it just like simple human jealousy, or is it they genuinely don't think that women are good in politics?
I think not only jealousy, because it will be naive to just rely on jealousy to come to this conclusion, but also this maybe monopoly to have a monopoly in this specific field. This give them some kind of power maybe, or they are afraid of future competitions, or they are afraid of younger generation that is more not more educated, but their worldview is more they are more adaptive to this changing world, and they perceive this new environment and changes more quickly, and get comfortable with any environment, and they can use this environment for making good for their own. Maybe that's the case.
And what do you think would be the steps to take to support more women in politics? Would it be like educational reform from the bottom?
I think that we need more women who want to enter politics. We need to bring these equality things to education, to schools and universities. That woman's mind is is not small, as many men point it out, that there is difference between minds of women and men. And we also need some examples, that particular examples that this woman in this field is a leader, or she did it well in this field, and women who will inspire coming generation to enter this particular field, to go to politics, or having the idea that one day she can become a minister, a president. Why not? We need this in our education, and also we need to inspire younger generation to believe that this equality can be reached. So, even our society is patriarchal in decision making, but I would say that Artsakh society particularly is matriarchal, because in families the woman play a crucial role, and in families, even they are traditional and they follow this traditional thing, woman has a decisive role in solving family issues, and to do or not to do some things, and men mainly follow these instructions, or they look for an eye of their a wife to do or not to do some things. When this comes to family, when nobody sees it, women are decision makers. But when this comes to the public, when the neighbors and friends see, women are not decision makers. They are kind of just following their husbands and their men.
So there needs to be some cultural change to stop that stigma.
This fact that there are less women in politics and other spheres comes from this exploitation of many in their families that they want to revenge, and they don't. They close the doors of politics and business and other fields for women.
Here's something I've been thinking about recently. Whenever you become a parliament member, does it need to take over your life? Does it need to be your identity? If you're going to politics, why can't it just be another job? And I'm not saying you should be bad at the job. I'm saying you should be really good at the job. But does it need to be part of your identity?
It shouldn't be part of our identity. But even in a small country, a very, very teeny country that Artsakh is, you can see that even members of parliament and ministers and other state officials, they behave like they are in the Congress or in the French Senate, or they are working in the office of the Russian President Putin, and so on. So It's funny, but at the same time, it's not funny because when we have this artificial feeling of being an important person rather than doing an important job, this brings to very bad results, and we don't do good things for the society, for the state in general, but we are concentrated on our own selves, just to feel important, to give some importance to themselves.
And is this another cultural thing? Because obviously Armenians are very proud, or we're all very proud of everything.
Armenians have many things to be proud of. We have komitas, we have Artsakh, we have culture, we have beautiful architecture, we have many things to be proud of, but not these artificial things that we are giving much place in our lives. I think yes, it's kind of Armenian character, but it will not lead us to the place where we want to be. And our pride should be based on real values and real ideals rather than ourselves.
Let's talk about a little bit about the war. So you're active on social media. During the war, from my experience, there wasn't just a physical war, but an information war. I remember people would come out and they would post things that were, say, pro-Armenian, and then the Azeri community would come and comment. It would happen with the Armenian community too, where if some celebrity or some figure posted a pro-Azeri post, we would go and comment and say, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. So there was like this information war happening. How would we combat wrong information going out moving forward?
As you mentioned, the information is a part of war, in our case in 2020 war. And this information war, propaganda, played a huge role in this war. And we saw that how this miscoordination, or not miscoordination, but wrong coordination of information from the Armenian side brought to not unexpected, but to wrong results. Because when for 44 days your state propaganda is that we are winning, but you are losing every day, and you have no not vision, but prospect of winning the war. But you feed your society, your nation with these winning things. Of course, I'm not saying that we should propagate that we are losing, but at the same time, just not telling the truth to the nation, even in the last week of the war, that okay, we were winning, guys, but we have problems in the battlefields, and we have problems with military, with these things, and to prepare your nation to this defeat. When 2/3 of Artsakh is lost, and you still crying that we are winning, it's not fair to your own nation. So this is the main lesson, I think, from this information war with Azerbaijan. We should learn that, of course, the information, this media should be supervised by state during the wartime, but coordinating and supervising the media and controlling this information from state is another thing, and to prepare your whole nation to another idea, another outcome is another thing. So me being here and seeing what's happening, and for in my case, personally, of course it's personal case, but for the third day, starting from the September 13th, I stopped watching these press briefings of the special representative of MOED of Armenia that they gave during the war. And of course, I didn't start my own investigation to post what's going on really in Artsakh in those days. But at the same time, I don't remember any post any day that I posted this "We will win" hashtag. If my memory serves well, I didn't. I never posted this motto, and it didn't mean that I won't believe in our victory or that we will win. Of course, till the end of the war, I had a belief that we should win because we have no other choice rather than to defend ourselves and to defend what we find our identity, our territory. But I try to post what I see. What I saw during those days, and this attracted many online users to follow me and to get updates on a regular basis. But at the same time, I posted the information that was released by state government organizations coming from the Ministry of Defense and from the offices of the heads of Armenia or from Artsakh. But at the same time, of course, I feel part of this because I didn't did anything opposite to this state propaganda. I tried to add some real things happening those days in Artsakh. But generally speaking, I also will consider my fault in being part of all of this because I didn't resist and didn't do it on my own. I mean, investigate or to post other information because also I hadn't these sources to be, in the Ministry of Defense, in the army, or to inform people what's going on. But at the same time, for example, I had an opinion that maybe if I will post that Lachin, this road connecting Stepanakert with Goris is not safe to travel, even if the special representative of the Armenian MOD says that the road is open. But I will say, guys, I can't drive from Stepanakert to Goris taking this road. I thought that it will not be a right things from my side to do because maybe, for example, it's war, and maybe in 2 hours the road will be in the control of the Armenian side. So you know what's happening. You see the state propaganda, but at the same time, you can't do anything to change because you are not the one who knows everything and who is allowed to do this kind of thing. It was very hard to be in this position, to know what's going on and have no leverages to have an influence on this.
Do you think going forward more people will be cautious about listening to government propaganda or?
No, not at all. The social memory of people is very short. When I talk to my mother, my parents, and for this period of time, they are very attracted to this particular politician, and they will say, listen to him, he speaks about good things, but for the particular period of time, they will say, no, he is not okay, he's a traitor, or he's not a good guy. And you know that when you follow this and you know politics from inside, not from the books, but your experience allows you to make your own conclusions, you can come to the idea that, yes, people love to listen to good things, promises, that everything eventually will be fine and this particular politician will bring you peace or prosperity, as they want to improve their life, to live in peace, in stability, in prosperity. They just believe in those who promises them these things. So this works everywhere, not in Artsakh. It's the character of social processes.
Are the educational systems in Artsakh, do they teach politics there, like primary, secondary school, or is politics not a subject?
not politics, but in secondary schools, students, they study social science and the basics of human rights and this, how the state is constructed, how it works. So from their school years, they are acquainted with this, the basic of politics. And so they study political science in at their universities, and even if they didn't choose the faculty, the department of political science. But to say that the younger generation they are attracted to politics, no. They are like, I always say that this new generation, this Tumo generation is our hope. Tomorrow, this, and they study this robotics, and their world is different than ours. Even the difference, age difference, is not so big, but still, I feel that their worldview and their priorities are different than ours. And I always say, if we have citizens who realize themselves that they are the center and everything depends on them, they can do this and they can do that, and they want to make something on their own. So they will bring change to the society at the end of the day. And I hope, I always say that this Tumo generation is our hope.
For those people who don't know, could you explain what Tumo is?
Tumo is a center for creative technologies. They have a Tumo Center in Stepanakert. They involve children up to 18 years. They study some robotics, these new technologies, and they are more advanced. And what we need to live in the 21st century in 2020 is, let's put it this way.
Okay, so 2 more questions. What, in your opinion, is the road to peace? Is it wholly dependent on Azerbaijan, or are there steps that Armenia and Artsakh can take on their own to achieve it?
A peace cannot be reached unilaterally. I mean, we need not two sides, but all conflicting sides to come to an agreement that, now we reached to peace. But it's not, I'm afraid that right now we are going to the wrong path. I mean, we artificially doing things that we are not ready as a nation, not just only Armenians, but also Azerbaijanis. This opening of communications and roads and automobile roads or these railways, I think this kind of artificially speeding these processes, and we had a war just a year ago, and there are many families even who still don't know the fate of their sons, and they are the rescue team of Artsakh. They are rescuing these remains of the bodies of the killed servicemen from the territories of Nagorno-Karabakh, right now occupied by Azerbaijan, almost every day. So for us, those living in Artsakh, the war is not over. The war is not over physically, because for the last months, we had 3 civilians who were killed by the Azerbaijani fire. Civilians, not the soldiers. We had also killed soldiers, but I want to emphasize that even to live in Artsakh after ceasefire is not as safe as it's supposed to be, because there are some Russian peacekeepers here, or the armed hostilities were stopped. And for us, it's kind of parallel universe when we see these conversations with Azerbaijan, with Turkey. Of course, Armenia should normalize its relations with neighbor countries, but it shouldn't become an imposement from Azerbaijan and Turkey to Armenia, like imposing peace. You can't impose peace. For example, how can I consider that war is over when I lost my home. I lost my village, and I have no opportunity to go and to visit the gravestones of my grandmother, grandfather, to light candle in Horekavang, and etc. And many others who lost their homes and became displaced. If armed hostilities are stopped, this automatically doesn't mean that there is peace. I don't say that we need to start war against Azerbaijan or against Turkey or against war, but I think if we want to reach everlasting peace in this region, human rights should be protected first. I mean, for example, I have a right to live in my native village, and others who became displaced, and the rights of those displaced. If we can't ensure this automatically means that the conflict is not over. If I can't visit my home, to live in my house, and my parents became displaced and they live in other place rather than their home, this I can't call peace. We need to restore these rights first, then speak about peace and about neighborhood. Neither us nor Azerbaijanis or the Turks from the west of Armenia are not going to leave this region. And we need to learn to live together in this region in peace, and be at least not rivals but neighbors. Even if we are not good neighbors, but still be neighbors and don't fight against each other. But if Armenia is small, Artsakh is small, and we have these big differences in power balance, it doesn't mean that they should dictate their own will to us.
My final question is something that I want to ask every guest that comes on the podcast, and end with this. If you could give one piece of advice to all Armenians right now, whether that be in the diaspora, Armenia, Artsakh, what would it be?
I will not give any advice to anyone, because we are all advisors. And every morning we, as Armenians, wake up as advisors who know better than others what to do in their armchairs, or they are in their sofas drinking some coffee or cola, but they have no profession, but they know better how to play football in the stadium, to defend human rights in the world court, or fight in the battlefield. So I will save you from my advice. But all I want that as Armenians, so we just realize that it's only us who defend our interests and our borders, ourselves, our rights. So just don't. We needn't go for others or to convince others to do what we want to do for ourselves. We just should rely on ourselves to build a stronger Armenia, to be capable to resist these challenges that Armenia faces today.
Okay, so should I remove that question and never ask it again for the next guest? Okay. Well, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you, Anush, so much.
Thank you, Arman, for having me. It was very kind of you to invite me to your broadcast, and it was my honor to be your first guest. I wish you every success in your future episode.
Thank you. This was The Armenian Harvest, hosted by Arman Jiragat-Spanyan. Thank you for listening.